welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Amy. I was born with a rare birth condition known as tetraphocomelia, and in short that just means that I was born without arms or legs. But I try not to let that stop me from living a full life and doing the things that I love to do. I'm an artist, an author, a motivational speaker, and I make purses and wallets. I started this channel a few years ago just to share some short clips of how I navigate life without arms and legs. The last time I uploaded a video, I believe I mentioned that depending on my health and how I was feeling, that I wanted to upload videos a little bit more often than I was. And here we are 5 months later, mostly for good reasons, but we'll get into that a little bit later in this video. For now, let's just get to today's episode of How Does She Do It? In the life of a purse maker, or any sewer for that matter, there is bound to be tons of fabric involved. You can see a little bit of my stash behind me. Forgive me for the mess that it is right now, which is kind of ironic because I'm about to share with you how I fold and store my fabric. The method that I'm about to share with you is not a new one among the sewing community, but I thought I would share with you how I accomplish the task. The materials I'll be using are Gorilla board. This is just a lightweight foam board that gives me a flat, hard surface to work on. Comic book board, fabric, of course, a large paper clip, and a chopstick coated in Plasti Dip. This acts like a finger with some grip for me. Typically, I would be folding about a yard of fabric in this manner, maybe 2 yards, but not more than that. In this demonstration, I'm using less than a yard. I've already used it, so this is a bit smaller than what I'd normally be folding. First, I unfold the fabric, and depending on how large the piece is, I may not unfold it completely. Just enough to get the comic board in there with a bit of extra room on the sides. This specific piece needed to be opened completely. And this is where I use my Plasti Dip coated chopstick to help move around and straighten the fabric. I place the comic book board on one end of the fabric, leaving enough space above it to fold the fabric down over it. Then fold in each side. Here I am placing the large paper clip on one side. This acts as a hand to hold that side, while I use my mouth to hold the other side and fold the fabric and comic book board down. Take the paper clip off and fold down again. If you have any scrap pieces of fabric, like I do here, this is a good time to place those scraps right on the comic book board and fold over again. That way you won't have to search for the scrap pieces later in a huge bin of scraps. They'll just be right there for you. I like to take the very end of the fabric that's left and fold it inward to create a clean edge before I fold it up over the comic book board. And then finish by putting on the giant paper clip to hold it all in place. That's it! The sturdiness of the comic book board allows you to stand the fabric up on end in a shelf, and then you're able to pull it in and out of the shelf just like a book. You can see there is nothing complicated about this method, but for me personally, it is time consuming and quite tiring because of the effort that I have to put into just about everything that I do. You can imagine the time and effort it might take if I had a whole stash of fabric that I needed to do that with. Just recently I had a pile of fabric that was stacking up quickly and needed to be folded. My sister came over and so graciously helped me with that. Otherwise it would have taken me days to complete. But we haven't yet put it back on the shelves, which leads me to the news that I promised I would share with you earlier in the video. If you follow me over on Facebook or Instagram, you probably already know what I'm about to share, but if not, I'm getting married. See, I told you I hadn't posted for a good reason. I briefly mentioned in my last video about my boyfriend Michael and his cute little kitty Puddin'. He lives halfway across the country, so I don't get to see him often, but this past April he came to visit and he proposed on a cute little bridge over a little creek in a park nearby my house. Our weekend together was perfect, and since then we've been wedding planning. Oh, and the reason that my sister and I have yet to put the fabric back on the shelves is because We've also been packing. Yes, I am moving halfway across the country to be with my future husband. Our wedding is this September, and I could not be more excited to be marrying the man that God has chosen for me. Michael is everything that I have prayed for and more. He is truly my best friend, my protector. He encourages me, he fights for me, and he loves me exactly the way that I am. Not only is he ready for the challenges that come along with being a husband to someone like myself, but he is excited for it, and that is a specific answer to my prayers. I'm looking forward to introducing him to all of you in future videos. I have a feeling you're going to love him as much as I do, and we have some things in mind that we want to share with all of you together. But for now, I have a lot of wedding planning and packing to do. Until next time, bye guys. He encourages me. He loves my kitty. My little kitty baby.